Hi, I'm Andrew, an entrepreneur and a computer science student,
Hi, I'm Verene, a psychology major student.
and you're now listening to the Ink Thoughts podcast, where we ponder and talk about incongruous thoughts ranging from our daily life to the human mind. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Ink Thoughts podcast. Today is actually quite a great morning. I ended up sleeping in for like around 10-20 minutes ish because it's just so comfortable in the morning. The rain from yesterday just made the temperature quite low. What about your side?
Actually forget if it rained yesterday, but this morning when I woke up, I feel it's like so cool. I don't feel like getting out of my bed. I just lie there and then scroll through my phone, wasting some time.
Yes, I did that as well. Actually, I ended up getting distracted because usually I'm not supposed to use my phone until like 7 something, but then I was like, it's just so comfortable. I don't want to. I slept in for like 10-20 minutes, but after I woke up, I just like took my phone and then just like scroll a bit. Yeah, I'm not supposed to do that, but then like I ended up doing that. But in the end, I woke up around like 5:30 and went for my workout. Yeah, because I kind of have this new idea that previously I sometimes I'll just like wake up at 7 instead of 5 because I think that after a few days it's important to maybe take a break or something. But now I think that I shouldn't really wake up at 7. Instead, what I should do is just I still need to wake up at 5, but maybe I can decrease my workout and all that because I shouldn't stop whatever I'm doing, but I can slow it down, like what I said. Like if it's growing, you're not supposed to stop what you're doing, but you can actually slow down the pace.
So
That's what I'm trying to do.
So it's basically still maintaining your habit, just that you decrease the accent.
The what?
The level of your, let's say, your workout intensity
yes,
and all.
yes. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm actually looking for. Yeah. But yes, what are we talking about today? It's a topic from you, which is good.
Okay, so we are going to talk about if you are to live a good life, should we focus on now or future?
Okay.
So initially I thought of this because I guess that was during the time that I just finished my exam, and then I have quite some free time, and then I saw a lot of people's social media posts or those videos. So I saw some people trying to get to their goals, like they work very very hard, and then so their focus is on the future. But then I saw the other group of people would just they enjoy every single step in their life, like focusing everything at the moment. So that's what makes me think of this topic. Like, should we focus on the now or the future?
Okay.
So what do you think about it? Like, what's your opinion on it?
Opinion on what in particular?
Like how which side should we focus on?
Let's not go directly into that because like that's the final thing, right? So should we talk about something else instead of like just go straight on, like, should we focus on now or the future?
Sure. So personally, do you put your focus on whatever you're doing now, or you put your goal that oriented person, or you're more of the process oriented person?
Okay. Yes. Actually, I wrote something about this in. Okay, not directly about this, but within my blog, I talked about this yesterday. So I believe most of us are goal oriented. It's hard to deny that because since young, we are basically goal oriented. We do something because we know that there's a result or a reward in the end. That is what motivates us to do it, and it worked well when we were young because the thing is, what we are doing when we are young is actually quite easy. So it's it's very easy for us to just go and achieve the goal. And so it's very easy for us to just get a result or achieve the goal. So no problem with that. But yeah, it's towards when you're older or something. And yeah, another thing that is that when we're young, we don't really have long-term goals. So we are goal-oriented. But when we're older and stuff, we start to have long-term goal. We know that something just doesn't happen so fast. But initially, we still try to stick with what we have called basically goal-oriented. So we think of using that goal as the one thing that try to motivate us. Whenever we try to do something, we try to use that to push us. But eventually, we find that actually doesn't work, because being too goal-oriented for when you're doing a long-term goal will either you actually get quite disappointed if the final result or the end goal doesn't reach whatever you expected, or even worse, you just like end up stopping the journey before it ends because you're just too demotivated, because there's no other motivation for you to do it. So yes, that's actually the two things which let me think that goal-oriented isn't really good for long-term goals. Instead, we should really, I mean, there's another way. There's another way where you can just like split your long-term journey, long-term goal into like multiples of minor goals. So along the way, you get rewarded, something like that. But another way can be just basically be process-oriented. So you should be grateful of the process. You actually should look at whatever you have done and appreciate whatever you have done, something like that, instead of like just looking for the ultimate reward. Because the progress oriented way works for almost everything, I believe 99%, because everything has a progress, and the progress is some parts of the progress are tough, and if you get to be grateful of those, I believe there's no problem for you to enjoy the reward, whatever it is, whatever the goal or the reward is. So for now, of course, it's not easy to be process oriented, to appreciate the progress. Yeah, so I'm still trying to work towards that, but I do understand that process oriented is the way to go for me. Yeah.
Okay, so I actually, for myself, I'm a bit confused as well. Like, I'm not very sure if I'm more on the goal-oriented side or process-oriented side, because I believe everyone has goals. As we grow up, we have even more goals, and we are trying to work towards our goals. Yeah, then if let's say process-oriented, so basically, if a person is process-oriented, he or she might really enjoy the process as well, right? Even there's some negative parts, like failing certain process, and then you learn from the mistake and all, but generally you are still growing and learning, and you feel fulfilled as well. So
Yes.
so I'm a bit confused when I'm thinking about it, because I realize one thing that I like to do is that I like to imagine my future life, and then let's say I wanted to further my study in a few years time, then I really like to go and do all kind of research, although it's like still very very far away, and then everything would change within these few years as well. So so sometimes I get a bit confused, like which kind of person am I? But I think being goal oriented, and one thing is that when we go for job interviews, most of the people like to say I'm a goal oriented person, and I believe a lot of HR like this answer as well. Yeah. So I'm not sure if people are thinking the same way as how we think. Yeah. So, but I believe planning for future is essential. Just that we need to enjoy the current process as well, I believe.
Actually, you had an interesting point there. So yes, we do need to have, I believe everyone need to have a vision for the future. Without a vision for a future, basically you're going nowhere, I can say that. No matter what you're doing, you're like going nowhere. So it's important to have, I think it's something, it's important to have a vision for the future, but of course you need to accept the reality and be content with whatever you have now, right? You have right now. So I thought of something just now, but I actually forgot. Give me a moment. So content of now. Never mind. I can't really recall what I was thinking. But yeah, basically that's what I'm thinking. Because, like, perhaps maybe we should think of it in a way like, future is where we want to go, and but whether we make it or not, it's not that important. I'm not really sure. I really
believe it's very hard for people to
insight there,
think
but then
that
I
way.
can't recall what I was thinking. What were you saying?
I think it's quite hard for people to think that way, that if you didn't get to your goals, it's okay because you really want it, so you set it as your goals, right?
No. I thought so not really. So I recall what I was gonna say. So mainly like when we talk about improvement, the thing is that the one thing which I really always like to say is that it's okay to slow down ish, because you already have the mindset to just do this thing. So it's like, if you have the vision to do something, so you kind of have a pathway already. It's okay to just go do it quite normally, because like go on a very normal path. Not really normal path. So basically just do whatever you do every single day. Because eventually your path will just like bring you there. Because you already have a vision there. So no, it's very hard for you to deter yourself away from your path. So you can slow down whatever, but you already have a goal. So it's okay not to be so focused about it. Like, you focus on your process, you know that, okay, perhaps now I need to rest. It's okay to rest. Don't think about not having a rest just because you want to achieve the goal. What do you think of that?
I think it's a good point. And I just thought of something like, those goal-oriented, an overly goal-oriented person, after he or she achieved the goal, okay, because they'll do literally everything that you will bring them to the goal, but maybe they have ignore the process stage, like they don't really enjoy at all. Then when they achieve their goal at the end, then they suddenly feel there's nothing else for them to chase after.
Yes,
And they
that
feel so
is very
lost
true.
after
Because yes, when I was reading Atomic Habits by James Clear, they talk about this as well. Instead of having a goal, which in the end, after you completed it, like let's say complete a marathon, you actually feel lost. You actually don't know what you're supposed to do after that. So instead of having that, it's better to kind of have a purpose which you're doing it for. So a purpose which doesn't end. It's not like a end goal. It's not like full stop-ish. So maybe you just run to be healthier or something like that, because there's no end to this thing. So it's sometimes better to have a mindset as such. So you won't. There's no one full stop at one single point where you just get total lost on what you're supposed to do after that.
I suddenly recall something. Okay. I think maybe I actually enjoy the process oriented way as well, because I recall that there's a few times that I feel very happy and contentful because I'm taking those baby steps to, for something. And then I know it will eventually bring me to my goal. But that goal at that moment is not that important for me. I didn't really think of it. I enjoyed the process at that moment
The
because
improvement-ish, is it?
What?
The improvement that you're getting?
Yeah.
You're enjoying that?
Yeah. So I believe most of the people might have these kind of moments in their life, just that they don't really realize that, and then they think I'm a very, very goal-oriented person.
But the thing is that, I believe even if you're just thinking this, you are not a process oriented, because we talk about oriented, right? Oriented is the keyword. Oriented, which means you care most about that. So of course you may appreciate the process from time to time, but the thing about not focusing just on the process means that you're still not process oriented. Like you do care about it sometimes. I do have moments like that as well, where when you see the improvement, it's actually very good. But the thing about process oriented is more than just appreciating the improvement. It's appreciating that all the ups and downs as well. So maybe sometimes you actually you're actually rolling backwards, but in fact you actually appreciate maybe that you have learned something from it. Appreciate whatever help that you have gotten, even though you're actually going backwards instead of like moving forwards. So I think that is the thing about now, like focusing on now, because if we talk about now, just like life, there is always ups and downs. So when there's ups, of course, there is a lot of things to be both of them have a lot of, you can actually be grateful with a lot of things. When you're heading up, so you're getting more successful. Now you can be happy with your success. You can be thankful of the people that help you, be thankful of whatever you can do right now. But let's say the worst case comes when you are actually going backwards. Now it's a pretty bad period of your life. Maybe like in COVID, you lost your job or something. But still, you should be grateful of many things, where you can tell that, okay, I've learned that maybe my capabilities isn't enough, so it actually provide me with a opportunity to learn. You're thankful of the people who are actually helping me out during this COVID pandemic, even though I lost my job or something. Thankful of maybe previous me, which actually saved up some money, so I can still survive now. I'm not like living on the street or something. Thankful of the house that you are renting right now. You still have a place to stay. So I think this is more of the real kind of focusing on now, appreciating now. Yeah, this like thankful of now, something like that. This is more the thing. This is more of the definition of process oriented.
Okay. I see your point, and I suddenly thought of something. So, what is your thoughts on, some people, they generally just don't have any long-term goals. They just enjoy every single moment of now. Yeah, they just focus on everything on now, but they don't really have a long-term goal. And I think it's pretty common sometimes. Yeah. What is your thought on this?
Okay, not having a long-term
Yeah.
goal. So, but they don't have a long-term goal. So are they actually enjoying the process, or they are just indifferent to the world?
I think, okay, because this actually, I actually saw this on a friend's Instagram story, that she said, I don't really think a lot of the future. I think there's no point thinking too much of it. So I don't really set long-term goals at all. So I just focus on whatever I have now, and then I do whatever I should do now, and enjoy every single moment now. Yeah. So I don't think it's indifferent, just that they generally don't want to set themselves a long-term goal.
But the reason that they are not setting it, is it because they have a fear of something, or any other reason, because for me, I think a long-term goal is important. That's why even for, let's say, from investors' perspective, I mean, a company being I do see that like some people, when you're running a company, like as long as your company is profitable, as long as you can feed all your employees, your company is growing year by year, you don't really care about the numbers, you don't really try to reach your objective. But as long as you're growing, like, they're okay with it. But from an investor point of view, would you rather invest with someone that is like, as long as our company is growing, then it's fine? Or would you rather invest in a company where they actually have a vision, they can tell you what we are trying to do? What do you think of that?
I believe investor, of course, they'll choose the latter. Like, who wants
right.
to invest in the company that I don't know where you're bringing me to.
Yeah. I mean, so in this case, okay, in this case, I think being like this, it works, but you're you don't have a direction. You're just you're going nowhere. So for me, it feels like they are either indecisive, or they are fearful of something. Because either what, having a, like what I said earlier in the beginning, it's important to have a vision. Then but you need to understand reality and be content of the now, so that whatever happens, you're okay with it, but not just have no long-term goals. Like, hey, it's okay. Like, whatever now happens, it happens. Because there's actually one thing which is happening around, not around the world, but particularly in China. They call this lying flatism. Lying flatism. So basically, all the youth, the new younger generations coming out from university, entering the workforce, what they're trying to do is they are doing the bare minimum effort in their companies, in their life. They are not trying to get married, they're not trying to get babies, because what they're doing, they're just trying to survive. Of course, I think this is not really like your friend. So your friend is like perhaps more motivated, but they're like, maybe she, is it a she?
Yeah, it's a she.
Yeah, she's just like thinking about, let's maybe enjoy current, like do whatever we can, do the best we can right now, but instead of like focusing on future. So she's trying to do the best, but then just without a long-term plan. But lying flatism means that you're kind of doing the bare minimum effort to survive. You're just trying to survive through your whole life, because they think that having an objective, having a like a goal or something, it's actually quite tiring. So they don't want to follow the social perception, where like you have to try to get a raise, get a better car, get a house, get children, get babies, something like that, and then get them into better schools and all that. So that's what they're not trying to do for these. Yeah, these are, I would say, those that are not really, they are not even focusing on now. They're just indifferent. They just don't care. Yeah. Perhaps your friend, she still care about progress. I mean, that works. But if you're trying to be a leader, that won't work. Just like what I talked about the company thing. Like, can you imagine like a leader of a company, a president, not a company, actually a country, a president or a prime minister just tell like, yep, it's fine. Everyone just try, like, work your best. I mean, it's a very good idea when you implement it to yourself, telling yourself like, just do your best. Just do your best, and know that we have a limit as well. But I think sometimes when we try to apply this to a larger group, you can't really do this. Instead, you should create a perception where you have a direction. Yeah, because I believe everyone's standard is just different. You can't just like let everyone like do your best. Everyone's best is different. Instead, you need to just tell everyone that we have this goal which we are trying to achieve it together. Everyone is trying to do the same thing, instead of like everyone just do your own best. Something like that. So this is what I actually think. But yes, what was actually your question?
No. My question is about what's your thought on this?
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, so
Yeah. So,
so
yeah, I guess that's my thought on this.
yeah. So okay, so for me, actually, when I saw it, I'm a bit surprised because yeah, I think she actually worked very hard on her stuff. Just that I this is the first time I realized that she don't really have a long term goal. Well, I'm not that close to her as well, lah. Yeah.
Mm.
So, uh, okay, what I want to say just now? Oh, okay. Then it brings me to think deeper, and I think there's no good and bad for this as well. Like this, your just your
Mm.
of
Mm.
preference of living. Yeah. So
Mm.
as long as you are doing something that's meaningful to you, and you know you're improving, you're learning, and all, then yeah, if you really like it this way, then yeah, why not? Maybe one day in
Mm.
the future, suddenly a goal might pop up and you wanted to chase after that goal. Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah. There's another thing which I think, yeah, those are fine, but of course, well, personally, I think, yeah, those are fine. Like, depending on what's the thing you want to achieve, but I do believe that having a vision, maybe not, let's not call it a goal, but a vision, just kind of helps you align your way through that. And then, but of course, you need to have a vision while actually be content with now enjoying the process. The vision just acts like a direction. It's not really something that you must achieve,
Yeah.
but it gives you, it tells you like, oh, where to go and all this stuff. Because
Mm-hmm.
there's one thing which I read about. So this quote, I'm not sure from who, just he talked about, it's better to live a life of purpose instead of life or live a life for one single purpose. Yeah. So you living a life of purpose means that in your life you lived it for multiple reasons. So basically, when you're enjoying the process, you find like, yeah, there's multiple reasons which this life is like so contentful, so nice and stuff. Instead of like, oh, I'm trying to be a millionaire by the age of 30. That's like one single purpose which you're trying to. But actually, that person that became a millionaire at 30 and achieved his one single purpose probably have other purposes as well. Just that he wasn't noticing because he is too goal oriented. But when you try to be process oriented, you will notice that, yeah, there's a whole lot more purpose that I lived for unknowingly and all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, being process oriented is nice, but yeah, I think the goal oriented thing just gives you a path. Yeah, it's not really the ultimate purpose, but it acts as a purpose as well. Like maybe a greater purpose. Whether you reach it or not, it's fine, because along the way, since you're being content with whatever you have, whatever you're doing, yeah, it's great. You'll be enjoying the process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, I do see goals as a direction, like because without direction, sometimes people might feel really lost. That they don't know. They generally just don't know what they should put effort in and what they should work hard for and all.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Then I actually saw this quote. It says, "Without a goal, there is no process," which I think it's self-explanatory as well, because because without a goal, you don't know where you're heading to, you don't know what to do, and then no process in the end.
Yes. Yeah.
So I guess we should have a goal and then look at our goal regularly, but not putting too much of focus on that. But instead we put our focus on whatever we are doing, looking for improvement, looking for better way of living as well. Yeah, you just focus on whatever you have now, and then be grateful and all.
I don't particularly agree with one point you said just now. Focusing on now, but I actually forgot.
Oh, do you mean?
I forgot the one thing which you talked about.
Do you mean
But
looking at your goal regularly?
okay.
Okay.
Yes, actually that one. So, not really looking at your goal regularly, because there is like what I said earlier. You have a goal. You know what you're trying to do. So it's better to put the focus, like it's kind of have like an unconscious thing at the back of your mind, which you don't have to particularly keep looking at it. Yeah, but you just it's better to focus on your product, because when you keep looking at it, at least for me, I think that it forces you to try to push yourself towards that, and then you feel demotivated when you rest or something. So it's not really a good idea, because as long as you have that at the back of your mind, that is already good enough motivation for you to keep yourself moving forward. So I think maybe just focus on literally now the process, the progress and stuff, because like that thing is literally at the back of your mind. Like even without you thinking about it, you can already move forward.
Okay. I do think of another thing, which is some people might feel very lost in the middle of working towards their goal, and then so let's say for this kind of people, they already feel very lost. Then what do you think can motivate them is if let's say they are not supposed to look at their goals?
I believe they are not they are not that process oriented, right?
Yeah, like they're trying to be a process oriented person, but it takes time, right? Yeah.
Okay. I mean, one way you can do is, because the thing is, goal is easy to visualize, but process isn't. I mean a process and a progress isn't.
Yeah.
But I actually, in my yesterday's post, I was focusing on this thing about visualizing progress, because I was reading this book, How to Build a Digital Net Worth by Jan Wong, and he talked about this particular way, which is actually quite interesting. So it's a kind of like a 30 days habit implementation system where you use post-it notes. So every day, let's say you're trying to get not just habit implementation, it can be achieving your goals as well. Let's say you're trying to be more buff or something, so you try to do more workouts, and in the end of the month, maybe you want to get like 50 push-up, 50 sit-up, but you know that initially you definitely can't do that, so maybe you'll start with 10. So maybe the first 10, once you have done 10, you write it on a post-it note and you stick it on the wall. And then on the second day, maybe you would like to increase it to 12. It's okay. After you have done that, write that you have done 12 push-up and 12 sit-up, and then like post it on the wall as well. So of course there might be days where you're just stagnant. It's fine, but don't go backwards. So it's okay to be stagnant, but don't go backwards. Continue moving forward. And you can just like keep sticking it. So whenever you go back to that wall, you can see the progress that you have made from 10 to all the way. Maybe now when you're actually demotivated, it's like day 15, but then now you probably already have 25, 30 push-ups and sit-ups per day. So when you look at that, you will actually you feel impressed of yourself. So basically, motivation by progress. You think about how much effort you have actually put in. Like, wow, you haven't reached the goal, and it's not easy now, but look at how much you have grown. So when you actually can visualize the progress, that's kind of like it's basically the same thing as goal. But we just magnify the goal so much that we think that, wow, when you reach the goal, you're going to change your life. But in fact, it doesn't.
Yeah.
So when you actually look at the progress, when you get to visualize your progress, you actually get a satisfaction of like growth or something. Wow, yeah, I've actually grown to be someone that I actually wanted. I'm actually constantly growing. So I find this is one example of visualizing progress. There is many other ways as well. As long as you get to see yourself improving, then I think it can kind of solve that thing where the person just feels demotivated because he's too focusing on his goal. Yeah, because we fail to realize like, well, how much we've improved.
Yeah. So I think we can say that motivation by progress can be a way to slowly shift ourselves to be a process-oriented person.
I mean, yes, yeah. We start it's kind of like starting by putting the goal-oriented mindset in a process into all your processes, because goal-oriented, we kind of look forward to the goal and all that, but process-oriented is like be content with now, but then we fail to do that. So because we can't really visualize it, so you kind of like put the goal-oriented thing, you try to make your progress easily to be visualized, so we can see it, and eventually maybe you just be thankful. Look at what I've done today. Constantly reflect, like, oh, I'm actually quite grateful of what I've done today. But then of course there's another part that I think the tougher one about visualizing progress is sometimes when there's downturns in life and all that. Those are tougher to be visualized. Those will require some training. Basically, because in our society we are taught to be thankful or to appreciate things which are socially agreed successful. But when we did something wrong, we fail to appreciate that. But when we did something wrong, at least we know that it's a mistake and we shouldn't do that again. At least we learn that. You'll be surprised how many people don't know that they shouldn't do this, just because people don't share their mistakes around. But it's quite lucky that because we have this startup culture, which they talk about, like failure is the greatest chance you have to learn. So people like to share around the failures, and when startup fails all the time, but then of course when they fail, they don't like, there's rarely stories about startup failures, and in fact there's probably 1,000 times more startup failed compared to all those that are succeeded out there. So it's actually quite normal to fail. Like, it's just we don't know about it. People don't share about it. So that's something. I think the first thing is we need to learn about how to visualize our progress, and then we need to learn about appreciating those progress which are actually downturns, instead of all those that are good, happy, all that.
So I believe both of us will agree that in order to live a so-called good life, then we should be process-oriented, right?
I mean, like, have a vision, but not goal-oriented. So you kind of have a goal or vision, but you are not focusing towards it. That is like just a direction. It tells you where you want to go, but you don't think about, oh shit, by today I'm still not that. By tomorrow I'm still not that. Like, what the hell am I doing in this world? No, that is actually just like something that you want to achieve. It's fine, but you don't try to think every day like, oh shit, how long am I gonna achieve that? How long am I gonna achieve that? But instead, you maybe, like, let's say for you think of trying to be a clinical psychologist. That's like your vision. But then every day, maybe you start by trying to read more articles, improve yourself on psychological related things, or maybe you feel happy when you apply to masters or something. Like, yes, you haven't achieved being a clinical psychologist, but all this minor progress, you look back at, and you should compare what you have done today to maybe yesterday, and then you learn that, oh, I've done more stuff today, I'm improved. Or even if you're stagnant, but then like, I did it again today, I am being consistent. So yes, I believe this is the thing that we should look for.
Yes. And then as when we are living, like, focusing on now, we can actually easily realize there's a lot of things that we can be grateful of. Like, because if, let's say, we are too obsessed with our goals, then we can just easily forget about it and without noticing it. And so your life is so sad and all, because every day you're just thinking like, oh, I haven't reached my goal yet.
Yes. So I actually saw this post from one of the lectures on Facebook I think last week. He talked about people who are living in the future are in anxiety, and people who are living in the past are in depression. So basically, that's why we shouldn't be living in the future or the past. We should actually live in the current, learn from the past, and have a vision for the future. Something like that, I guess. You don't like just dwell on it. Like, oh shit, look at what I've done yesterday.
Yes.
That's so terrible. I can't continue living anymore. No, like instead you should learn from that and don't think about shit. I haven't achieved my goals yet. What the hell am I doing out here instead? You just know that whatever you're progressing now is towards that goal, and whatever you've done yesterday, even though they may be wrong, but you're actually learning from them. So kind of appreciating the progress, so that you won't get either anxiety or like getting depressed, something like that.
Yeah. And then living in the moment, I believe people call it as a very good kind of self-help as well. Yeah. Like like last year when the pandemic so I saw a lot of those professionals, they're telling to focus at your present. Don't think so much about the future or the past. Just do whatever. Yeah. So I believe it's a self-help movement as well.
Yeah. Don't because it's basically when you're thinking too much about the future, you get anxiety. So just don't try to do that.
Yeah. So shall we wrap up here?
Sure.
Anything you want to say before we end it?
Basically, I guess focusing on that is definitely better to live a good life, because there's actually only one now. Like now is now. There's only one now, but there's the future is still unknown. There's multiple future which can possibly happen. So yeah, it's better to focus on what's around us instead of like trying to think of the future and all that. Yeah, but of course we need to have a goal or a vision just to access a path which we try to follow with, follow along. But of course, if it really changes, it's fine. Yeah, it really changes, it's fine. It's just like kind of it's like kind of a GPS navigation thing for you.
Okay, for me, I think for those goal-oriented person, we wouldn't say it's like a very bad thing, just that maybe process-oriented might be better. Okay, so let's say you're really a goal-oriented person, try to make your goals the whole world of yours. If your goal is gone one day, you feel like your world is gone as well.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, it's true, because it's the future is too uncertain. Like let's say if your goal somehow falls within these 2 years, and the COVID pandemic just like ruin it. Like you imagine if you just see your goal like disappear out of thin air. I can imagine how terrible that feels. So
yes.
Yeah, let's not just like focus on one single goal there.
So I guess it's the end of this episode. I mean, for
Any
this part.
insights?
Yeah. Do you have any insight?
Actually, I actually do have my insights. My insights that, but I've said it out. So I was gonna talk about the 30 days habit implementation thing. But yeah, of course, even though we say it's 30 days, that you can actually extend it all along. Mainly, it's just for you to visualize your progress and see how much you have improved. And yeah, I pretty much talked about all my insights, and then and I even thought of something which I actually forgotten, like the thing about if you're living in the future, you're in anxiety. If you're living in the past, you're in depression. Yeah, I guess that's my insight. Like visualizing progress, then visualizing progress will help you to get motivation by progress, which is something I try to do with running and all this as well. It pushes me to work harder, because look at how far you have ended. Why not just work harder? Something like that.
Yeah.
Another thing as well, like what I talked in the beginning of the podcast. So, don't like the habit implementation. So, I try to keep the habit going, but it's okay to slow down until like just stop. Basically, all this stuff is don't be stagnant. I mean, it's okay to be stagnant, but don't go backwards. Like I still need to wake up at 5, but I shouldn't just like stop the whole whole 5 a.m. thing. I should constantly wake up at 5. Decrease my workout, it's fine, but yeah, don't stop. Something like that. Yeah, that's my insights.
But yeah, I can't think of any insights. Yeah. So I guess I don't have.
Which I've learned this week.
Yeah, I there's nothing that I think. Yeah, there's nothing for me.
All right. Okay. I guess then. That's it for this episode. And thanks everyone for listening. And hope to see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the podcast. If you enjoyed, do share with your friends and family and leave us a review on the Apple Podcast. If you're not using an Apple device, you can leave a review on the Apple Podcast website with a link in the show notes. If you have any feedback or thoughts which you hope that we'll discuss in the future, feel free to email them to us at hello@incthoughts.com, or alternatively, you can send us a private message on our Facebook, Instagram or Twitter with the username of incthoughtspod. Thanks again and see you all next week. Bye-bye. Why?
I think I don't know, when the recording started, I just like my mind goes so blank. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I actually let you hosted this whole thing. I just want to see how you're able to host it. But yeah, I think probably you should ask more questions. But fill in more gaps maybe. If you're hosting. But I guess it's fine. Overall, it's okay. Overall, it's quite cool. Yeah.
Is it? I feel like everything is here and there, and then.
I mean, well, most of our episodes are here and there. It's fine. It's just a conversation. But you did talk about the main thing. Like, yeah, it's okay. It's fine. Even when we try to have a structure, it's normal for us to just like wander off and then talk about other stuff, and then like oh yeah, maybe we should get back to a topic, something like that. So it's fine.
Okay.
It's okay. Just like how I felt last week, where I felt like it's actually terrible. I felt like this is a terrible episode, but you felt it's okay. Like this one, actually, I think it's okay. Just that there are some points where you can actually improve.
Oh, you think it's okay, and I think it's terrible.
Yeah, I personally think it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
It's actually quite okay. You talk about, and yeah, you made me share a lot of stuff. You made me thought of different stuff, which like I you activated those memories.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite cool. It's quite cool. All right. Yes, that's it then. Let's stop here.